Today I'm going to improve the utility of my V50 Volvo. It's already a great car and I use it as a daily, but what I want to do is to be able to tow with it. Now, the tow bar that I'm going to put onto here is exactly the same one that would go on an S40 or a C70. So if you've got either of those cars, you can follow along and it'll be exactly the same. I'm pretty confident though that most Volvo models will have tow bars that are relatively the same fittings but perhaps different dimensions. There'll be a link in the description to the exact tow bar fitted to this car, but if you follow that link you can choose the different options to get one that'll fit your Volvo, so it might be worth looking at that. Now today I'm physically fitting the tow bar, putting the 7-pin connector in and running the wires into the actual body, but I will do a different video showing how I connect up the electrics to the car. This is the kind of car that needs a 7-way bypass relay. It's the kind that's got a CAN bus in it, so it's a little bit more complicated. However, if that's the bit you're interested in, that holds true for every car, so the other video might be useful for you if this one isn't. Let's have a look at what comes in the box with the tow bar for this. So I've got the tow ball and I've got the 7-pin electrics and a nice little cover. This is the bit that the tow ball will connect to, but not interested in them for the moment. This is the bit that goes on the back of the car, basically like that. It's the main bracket. These connect to this, let me just see where. Here, one there, one on that side, and these plates, and we'll work out which way around they go on the top and connect with bolts through to the body of the car. They're just reinforcing plates. So it's pretty simple stuff and there's all the fixings there. So there's instructions for the fitting, goes on to a second page, but there's only really 10 steps, so that's not too bad. And there's a list of all the bits you should have in here so you could identify that you've actually got everything. Now, my understanding is there's no drilling required for this, and you don't even have to cut the bumper on a V50. You do have to cut a little bit out for a C70 though. Now I'm pretty sure that you could probably do all of this without raising the back of the car, but being an older chap, I'm going to raise it up to save me back a little bit. Just going to jack it up and shove it on some ramps. Right, that's the back in the air. So let's have a look at the instructions, and I think number one is we're removing the bumper. So to take the bumper off, there are 2 fasteners underneath, 2 in each side, and then there's the ones in the wheel arch. I think there's 5 or 6, and they all seem to be T25 Torxes. I'll give these a quick dousing with some GT85, and let's have a go. Oh yeah. That one looks like it's going to be okay. And that one does too. Maybe this is what you pay extra for with a Volvo. They all seem to be stainless fastenings. On most cars by now you've broken 3 or 4 of these because they're only made out of very cheap steel. According to the instructions, this should pull out to the side, I think. So let's just give it a tug and a bit of a... Oh, look at that. Couldn't be better. And now I think it's supposed to go backwards. sorted the fixings out now so that I've got a rough idea of what corresponds with which. There's nothing worse than getting part way into a job and finding that some of the fixings are missing. The next step is using item G, which are these M10 30mm bolts, and these washers. You connect this to the bumper beam at the back. It actually goes through, let me just go like that, and these go through into threaded holes through the actual bumper beam. Next is using item H and item K. Item H is these M12 35mm bolts, and it's these big washers that is item K. And it would appear that they go through to the bumper beam and have a lock washer and a nut underneath. So let's get them in. So these go in here, which is a bit fiddly, and then drop down through the holes here. There we go. And I'll get the other one in. Couldn't be better. Lock washer and nut. And we tighten these up later. So the next thing is to bolt on these side arms. This is step 4. Again, we're using M10 bolts, but this time with smaller washers, locking washers and nuts. So these will go on each side. So, having loosely put the arms on, the next thing is number 5, using the existing exhaust hanger and heat shield bolts. So there are 2 bolts that are already there, together with item P and item N. Item P are M8s and item N are these 25mm really thick washers to bolt item C. So that's this part, and this is going to the frame rail, and this bit will connect to those arms that we put on. The holes that are not already being used for the exhaust hanger have obviously suffered over many years with the road dirt and road salt, so they get quite gummed up. What we did was we made some thread chasers by cutting some slots with angle grinder into some lower grade bolts that we can just use as sacrificial, and we managed to clean all the holes out and get them, you know, so that they were usable. So goes into there. Through here. While I'm on that side, we'll get on to number 6, which it says use item R, which is an M12 bolt with these particular washers, which are ends, with the lock washers and the nuts to connect the plate we've just put on to the arm. So let's put that side on. We're going in the arm to the plate. And oops. Big washer, lock washer, nut. On the exhaust hanger side, we've got two existing fasteners that are in. Let's hope they come out. And one hole that has just been open to the elements forever. So what I'll do is I'll give them all a spray with GT85 and then I'll try and clear that out with a thread chaser. And here's one of my trusty homemade thread chasers. Let's see how we do. Right, that looks like I've cleaned that out well enough. What a good dude. These two fasteners have been there a while, so first of all, I'll give them a bit of livening up with a hammer. I've already gone through this process a few times, and then wire brushing them so you've got a cleaner surface to go at. Now these are the famous 10 mils. Yeah, so now these bolts look better than I expected, so I'm hoping they will just come undone. I've not used any heat on them yet, and I am very tempted to use heat, but let's just give them a little bit of a try first of all. Well, that seems fine. There is a God. To be honest, that is absolutely unbelievable how easy that came out. Thank you, Volvo. Having released the heat shield and the exhaust hanger and cleaned up the hole, we're ready to put this plate in now. Thing with these heat shields are they corrode around the fasteners. You will have to definitely do some kind of repair. We're going to put some big washers we've made over them to hold them back in. But for the meantime, let's get on with the job at hand. So this is over the top here. Get the first one in here, hopefully. The one that holds the exhaust hanger. Oh, it is in. And the final one I need to sort out with the heat shield, so I'll do that in a second. You'll also notice I had to put a slit in this heat shield so that it will fit over where the hanger goes. That's that one. And this one I can see a bit more of. Before we put the extension on, which actually has the tow ball on it, you put the bumper back. But before that, we're going to use the torque specs on here and tying everything that we put on. It's all loose at the moment so that you can get a bit of clearance here and there, but we use these torque specs and our nice Teng tools, link in description, torque wrench, we'll torque them up. Before we put the bumper back on, need to perhaps have a think about where the wiring's going to go into the cabin, because when you put the bumper back on you can't see. Now we've found a grommet down at the bottom which looks absolutely right for it. We're going to cut the nipple off this and feed the wire through it and then up into the cabin so it comes out behind the lights here, and there's wiring for the lights coming up here so we can tap into it there when we actually get onto the wiring. Just going to cable tie it here to the mounting bracket, and then we'll have to tidy the wiring up afterwards with what we can see be around the bumper. So having fit the bumper, and we didn't need to cut it, we're on to number 9, which says using item F, which are these 85mm long M12s, 2 washers and 2 nylock nuts. We're fitting this section so that this is the extension that the ball will fit onto. And the final part, before we get around to doing the electrics anyway, is to put the tow ball on. So with that, the tow bar is fitted with a tow ball on. Now these are 24mm M16 bolts. They need torquing to 215 Newton meters. I haven't got the big torque wrench with me at the moment, but I will be doing that before I use it. Now, if you want to get the same kit, there will be a link in the description which you can follow through. I will be going on to showing how I wire up the bypass relay for this as well, so you want to watch out for that video. Why not subscribe and see what other stuff we do?